yet.
Collins, appreciate it. From the White House, joining us now, CNN military analyst, retired Army Lieutenant General Mark Hertling. General Hertling, when it comes to the threat of nuclear conflict, do you agree with the president that this moment in history is the closest we've come to Armageddon since the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Certainly a possibility, Anderson. Whenever you're talking about nuclear weapons, and there's a lot of individuals who have participated in what are called war games and seeing the escalation capability of whenever a first element uses a nuclear weapon, how it escalates rapidly. In fact, kiddingly, I heard one individual at a war game say, hey, all it takes is a hand grenade, kiddingly, prescribing that to a small weapon that would escalate very rapidly. So I think the president, rightfully so, has been very concerned about the potential for Mr. Putin using nuclear weapons. He has threatened that before, both in a nuanced way and an overt way. The entirety of this conflict, I think there has always been the potential for Mr. Putin to use nuclear weapons. But when you think about how they would be used, there are all kinds of various courses of actions, and none of them have any rational thought behind them. The targeting of a nuclear weapon, even a tactical nuclear weapon in this kind of conflict, would not make any sense. But then again, we're dealing with an individual that hasn't made sense from the very beginning, and that's Mr. Putin in terms of the execution of this conflict.
When you talk about a tactical nuclear weapon, how would that be, might that be used on a battlefield? How large of an area does that impact?
Well, during the Cold War, Anderson, those tactical nuclear weapons were targeted at areas where there were large troop concentrations. And when I say large, I'm talking about a core of, say, 80,000 people and a lot of tanks. And the tactical nuclear weapon size could be anywhere from 5 kilometers to 20 kilometers. Now, that's much smaller than the kind of nuclear weapon that hit at Nagasaki or Hiroshima, but it's still a tactical nuclear weapon that has long after effects. So what you're talking about is the potential for hitting a large formation, having an exhibition nuclear weapon where you would explode it overhead or in the North Sea or something like that to demonstrate a resolve of using it. And there are several other scenarios that I don't want to get into here because they're all just very scary, but they put the enemy in a position to say, hey, this person is serious. Unfortunately, whenever you show you're serious about using them, the other side that has nuclear weapons says, we're serious about it too, or we may conduct operations which would cause a significant amount of damage to your force. And there's been all kinds of discussion of what that might be.
Which is why the president, I guess, reportedly said tonight that in his view, the use of a tactical nuclear weapon could likely lead to, quote, Armageddon. That if one side chooses to use it in Ukraine, for instance, in this case, if Russia did that I guess the U.S. would. Is that how does that war game out?
Well, you're talking about the potential for drastic escalation. You can answer a nuclear weapon with a whole panoply of conventional forces. This might be something that would cause NATO to do something. It might cause the potential attack on the Russian Black Sea Fleet. It could cause the potential attack on the basing where are the launch sites where the nuclear weapons come from within Russia. Ukraine can't do those kind of things, but NATO and the United States can. And then you can see the probability of what Mr. Biden said, the potential for Armageddon, because once the initial action is made, and this is why so many members of the administration has warned Mr. Putin's administration not to do this. Once the potential of this occurs, it's very difficult to restrain yourself from reacting to it.
Yeah, General Hertling, appreciate it. Thank you.